Now that we've solved our chemical equation here and balanced it, and we have downloaded all the molecule or atom skins that we're going to need, plus the plus sign and the arrow, we are now ready to create a model of this equation in augmented reality using the AR Maker app. So I want to take note here for my iron oxide. What I'm going to need 4 iron atoms, 3 O2 molecules, and then 2 iron oxide molecules here. All right, so once I know that, I'm going to launch the AR Maker app. Go ahead, start, create your own scene, and start again. Now I need to kind of move my iPad around and find a flat, well-lit surface, kind of like a floor or a table. Just make sure you give yourself a good amount of space because you're going to need it. And you can see I have this binding box that's kind of defining the area that I can work in. I'm going to tap on that. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the two atoms I'm going to need, which is iron and oxygen. So I'm going to go over here on the left, click on New. I want my atoms to be in a sphere, so I'm going to select the sphere from down here. I'm going to select the file icon, and then iron, my iron atom skin, check mark, and I have an iron atom right there. I'm going to do the same thing for oxygen. Okay, so now I got iron and oxygen. Now I have to get my plus sign and I have to get my arrow. So these are a little bit different. I'm going to go to New. Rather than doing a sphere, I'm going to do this kind of grid here, like that. So I'm going to add my plus sign first. Check mark, check mark. Okay, I got my plus sign. And now I'm going to make my arrow. All right, so I have everything I need. So now I need to kind of set up my scene and make it look like that equation. So let's add my 4 iron atoms first. So I'm going to select iron from over here on the left. Right now I'm moving this along the floor just by moving my iPad. So this is moving on what we call the X and the Y axis, if you remember from algebra. And just remember I have to stay inside this box. When I click on these arrows here, I can then lift this up like that. And that's moving this along what we call the Z axis. So I'm going to kind of lift this up and then place it. And I'm going to need 4 of those iron atoms. So you know what? I'm just going to, by default, the arrows are clicked. I'm actually going to just put my iron all in a straight line. I'm not going to connect them because they're going to be 4 separate atoms. Remember, we're setting up the equation here. But I'm just going to kind of stack them one on top of the other like that, just keeping them separated. So there's my 4 atom icon, my 4 iron atoms. And now we need a plus sign. So here's my plus sign. I'm going to move that a little bit over. I can kind of pinch to expand. Let's raise this. So it's going to be my 4 iron atoms. I'm going to place that there. Okay. And now I need 3 O2 molecules. So there's my oxygen. I'm just going to pinch to shrink that. I'm going to move that over here. Let's raise that up. Bring that up to here. Now these ones, because it's O2, I'm actually going to try to connect. Yeah, perfect. So we'll connect that together. Let's do another one. And again, we'll try to stack these. Connect that. 3 O2 atoms like that. Okay. So now, when we add 4 iron atoms plus 3 O2 molecules together, we're going to need our arrow. And we'll lift that. Actually, move that over a little bit. Place it so there's our arrow. And now let's make iron oxide, and we're going to need 2 iron oxides, right? We'll lift that up. Place that one there. Make our second one. This one's going to be bonded to the first, like that. Here's the tricky part, right? Might take some trial and error. There we go. Now we need to add our O2s to it, or our oxygen. And so we need to bond 3 oxygen atoms. So there's the first iron oxide that we have. Okay, and now right below it, I'm going to make another one because if you remember our equation, we needed 2 of these iron oxides. So let's get below it, let's get our tricky part, just doing a little trial and error, finding the right spot for it. Get our oxygen in there. Perfect. Let's get another one. Place it. Okay, so here we go. Just a little tour now. Right, we got our 4 iron atoms plus our 2 O2 molecules, and that's going to give us 2 molecules of iron oxide right there, which will have 3 oxygen atoms and 2 iron atoms in each one of these. Okay, so that's how we build our models. And you can watch the next video to see how to get a nice picture of